it's always been my goal, always been mine and my Adam Booth's game plan. You know, from day dot is to achieve what you need to achieve by the age of 31, and that's it. And if you haven't achieved it by then, it wasn't meant to be. You know, and you know, I've achieved a lot. I'm happy with my lot, and you know, I've got to move on to my life now.
Yeah, I think he will only come back if the opponent is Vitaly or Vladimir. Vladimir already said, and I agree, that it makes no sense because everything is clear after the first fight. There are no open questions. I think there is a good chance that we will see the fight Vitaly against David, but as also said before, we will not discuss that in public. Adam Booth and myself will have a chat, we'll have some phone calls, and then we'll see if it makes sense or not. I think it's only a question of the business.
A bit more groovy music there. McFadden and Whitehead, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. That's at least that's relevant. That's David Haye's entrance music. Now, where does Haye stand in boxing and his retirement? And who better to ask than a British heavyweight star, former WBC world champion, one of the most popular boxers Britain's ever produced. Welcome, Frank Bruno, to the Press Pass. Good evening, Frank.
Good evening, sir. How you doing?
Very well, very well.
Thanks for the nice build-up, sir. You're making me blush.
You had plenty of years in the ring as a heavyweight, Frank. You won 40 of your 45 contests. How would you assess David Haye as a heavyweight, first and foremost? I mean, where does he stand in the grand scheme of things? Has he made enough of an impact?
Yes, he's made enough of the impact. The most important thing in boxing is not to get hurt and to make as much money as you can. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever way you can. That's the name of the game, and try and give value for money, but it's to make a living, you know. We fight as amateurs to fight for medals. As professionals, we fight for corn, you know what I mean? So he's done very, very high in that department. As a cruiserweight, he was a very, he won all the belts. He cleaned up the cruiserweight division. Yeah. When he moved up to heavyweight, he was good in some parts, but to say he wasn't a natural heavyweight, you know what I mean? And he got lucky at the time there is now with all the boxers and whatever, and he's done well financially, yeah.
Yeah, so he benefited in effect from the fact that there was a slight dip in the quality in that heavyweight division when he took the step up, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do you actually believe that he is actually retiring, or is it a tactic to manufacture a Klitschko rematch?
You know, if he was around in my day, you know, I mean, I'm talking like an old man, but if he was around in my day, it would be a different cup of tea. But the Klitschkos haven't got no really big names or character. You know, I mean, he's a good-looking guy, he's a good boxer, you know, I mean, he's flary, he can give value for money with the press and that, but who knows if it will sell again, you know, because I'm not too sure if he would be, what other moves he can do to beat Klitschko, because Klitschko all night with the jab in his face, he didn't have nowhere to go, he didn't have no answers in that fight, not disrespecting him, but if you're talking about fighting Klitschko again,
yeah,
I think Klitschko make a cup of tea and use that jab and just sip the cup of tea and just use that jab all night, keep him on the end of it, and it would be the same.
Yes.
Not disrespecting anybody, but that's the way I see it.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it being any different the second time around. Would you pay to watch it, Frank? Is it something you'd get excited to see?
I had a leak in my house, you know, I had a flood, and I lost Sky for about 4 months. But I went round a guy called Paul Smith and Limos, and was watching it there, and yeah, you know what I mean? I watched the fight. I didn't actually pay for it myself. I didn't use no corn out of my pocket, but I went round and I watched the fight, yeah. Watched the last fight you're talking about, yeah.
What about I mean, we've got a great tradition of very popular heavyweights. So Henry Cooper, yourself, Lennox was very popular. David Haye's never quite reached that status, has he? Because he's made some daft public statements, and he's got himself in some needless, silly stunts, hasn't he, before big contests. He's never quite reached your level of popularity.
I can't really, you know what I mean, I've been taught by the masters, you know what I mean, old school, George Francis, Jimmy Tibbs, Terry Lawless, Mickey Duff, Jarvis Astaire, Mike Barrett, Don King, Frank Warren, rah-rah, but, you know, that you learn a lot of them people. Terry Lawless once said to me, when you're into boxing, you not only got to be a boxer, you got to be on television as you know, something different, you know, like go on different TV shows, have a little bit of a character. David has got that little bit of character, but sometimes he says the wrong things, and that But I don't want to disrespect him. The man's retiring, so I don't want to jump on his the bad bandwagon. He's been good for boxing. He's done well for himself. He's made some corn. He's not hurt. If he wants to come back there, maybe another payday. But
yeah,
you know, he's done what he had to do. You know, I'm not here to.
No, not at all.
I mean?
Not at all. But Ricky Hatton says, "Hey, he shouldn't retire. He should fight on." Do you think he should just stay retired, keep his marbles?
With fights like Tyson Fury coming up, that's a young prospect. You know, I mean, you've got 1 and 2 heavyweights coming up. What are there? We want some. You know, I mean, some corn. And, you know, want to make a little bit of a piece of the bread. So it'd be nice for him to carry on and give them an opportunity and make a big fight happen over here so the crowd can get the boxing fans bubbling, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it needs it. Thanks for joining us, Frank. It's been an absolute...
No problem. You have a nice evening.
And
you look after yourself, yeah?
It's a privilege to talk to you, Frank, on the press.
Respect, boss.
We'll see
Take
you
it
soon.
easy.
All
Cheers,
the best.
cheers.
All the best. Legend Frank Bruno, eh? Come on. He's getting his corn. I like my corn. Come on, what do you think of David Haye? We're cynical old hacks. We've never had to step in a ring. We respect everybody who steps in a ring because you have to be as brave as you can be. But where does he stand in the sort of great scheme of things as a heavyweight?
Respect the fighter, as you say, just for walking into that ring. But I mean, in terms of retirement statements, it's pretty hard to take anything he says seriously. Since I mean, I remember didn't he say he was going to literally decapitate Klitschko? And so you know, has he literally retired or not? You know, we know that the whole trash talking is part of boxing, but I mean, he took it to a sort of ludicrous degree. And I don't actually think it's necessary. I mean, Amir Khan doesn't feel the need to go around saying he's going to decapitate anyone. You know, let's let the boxing speak. And this is one of the issues I have with the fight game. It's just it takes a pretty special fight to get me to pay to watch. I have to say.
And I did pay for that last fight, and oh dear me, it was dull, wasn't it? I mean, it really was. You just all the time you're going, hit him, will you hit him? And he wasn't. And if he was going to go back in the ring again, and somebody asked me to pay another whatever it was, $14.95 to watch it, I'm not sure you would.
See, you're so cynical.